Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another stream. June 18th, a Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Yeah, just spouting some facts. Yo, we got Swiss Army in the chat. First to chat wins. Hells yeah. And it looks like my OBS thing is fixed now, so I will not ignore your messages this time. Let me test. Does it work everywhere? Blah, blah. I don't know why. It just didn't work the other day. Test. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And then let's try kick. Test. Ooh, oh yeah, okay, everything's fine. We are Gucci. Let me just go here. 11:30 a.m. for you, 7:30 p.m. for me, you know? Well, good late morning to you, men. Hopefully you're having a good day. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. I had a pretty productive start to today. I was working on publishing my latest YouTube video. I was almost done. I was just working on the title and the thumbnail, which is not easy for me, by the way. But then right before I was like kind of getting locked in, I decided to review my photos one last time and put it through Dehancer, and holy shit, the results are fantastic. To the point where I was like, oh, it kind of... So then I went through every photo... Sorry, I'm all over the place. What am I even talking about? I'm talking about my next YouTube video, which is going to be a photo challenge that I took while I was in Munich. So I spent about a week there, where like every day I went out in the morning, went on one of those little e-scooters, e-bikes, and then I zipped around Munich just with a single camera and a single lens each day, and just trying to see if I can get 5 photos, 5 videos every day. So it's a nice little way to warm myself up to shooting with the Nikon ZR, as well as shooting with various types of lenses. I think I shot with like an 85 millimeter, a 50, a 35, blah, blah, blah. Fun challenge. And the photos turned out pretty good. I was happy with it. It's not usually my cup of tea, or it's not my strength, right? I don't do a lot of like urban photography, urban videography stuff. So I thought it was a fun challenge for me to kind of also push the boundaries of what I can do and get uncomfortable. So anyways, the photos turned out pretty good, but then, holy Christ, when I put it through Dehancer, the shots just looked more rich, vibrant, and all that. And I'll go through it. So I put a pause on releasing the video today because I wanted to go back, update the video to include these revised photos, and then put in a quick little disclaimer. I thought it's not a sponsored video, but I figure I might as well give a shout out to Dehancer and then put a little like a promo to my promo code to get 10% off Dehancer. So all in all, I figure it's a good strategy. So that is a rundown of what I did today. I have a few meetings. Oh yeah, Swiss Army. I think I told you the wrong information. I think I told you I was supposed to have a meeting today with someone from Acilia. However, I looked back and it turns out it's next Thursday. So I had the date wrong, but which is fine because this is good. For just broadly speaking, I have a important meeting with a potential partner. I say partner as in these guys, I hopefully can do a lot of projects with them going forward. And as part of that, I want to make sure I'm prepared. I'm basically going to put together almost like a pitch deck, if you will, of various shots, videos, stories, ideas, so that this new individual that I've never spoken with, but is like, pretty high up, can easily understand the value of working with me. And who knows, Swiss, listen, maybe if you're on board, it'll be like, oh, look, the two of us are going, or whatever the crew is, going out to kind of create some cool concepts and do fun projects. So yeah, it gives me a week to kind of prepare. So yeah, anyways, that's some of that I'll do on stream as we're reviewing and color grading some of the, for example, the footage from Uganda. There's a few moments there when I was filming that I think can apply to future stories. There was a few key hero shots that I took that I think is something where if I put it together as a nice little sizzle reel, or just have it so I can show to anyone really, it's like, hey, this is the kind of quality you can get if you work with me in the future. I'm speaking very abstractly. We'll get more into it as the stream goes on. Swiss says, sounds good. More time for you to prep. Exactly. My cats say hi, or one of them does. Half of my cat says hi. Kimbap is over here. I just gave them some treats and some food. So, dude, this guy is insane. Kimbap is like, I actually have to be careful how I'm feeding him. So I had some treats in the palm of my hand, and he goes batshit insane the moment food is introduced, especially treats. And it's like he's so laser focused when he sees the food, and if I just present it to him in my palm, he does not pick each one. He's not being dainty. He doesn't give a shit about me. He will just go and bite my hand in pursuit of the food, which is like, come on, man. Yo, what's happening? We got a follow from Fabian. Fabian Hovilena. I think I said it incorrectly. Thank you very much for following me over on the Twitch side. I appreciate it. I'm streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So wherever you are finding me, I appreciate it. So thank you for that. Fabian says, hey bro, all is good? Yes, all is good. And actually, here, I want to almost like show you guys what I'm talking about. Let me grab some treats. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna grab some treats. I want to show you how freaking insane this little bastard gets. Give me a second. Watch, you're gonna see he's gonna start leaping over towards the kitchen once I head over there. Hold on. Watch that laser focus. Ready? All right, let me pause the music so you guys can hear the desperate cries of cats that act as if they're being starved to death, and they're not. I treat them well. All right, okay, I guess you guys can see it here. Let me switch to this camera. Look at this guy. See, he immediately sees the prize. So if we switch over to here, here we go. And Nala is so dainty with it. She never bites me. She just very carefully, grabs the treat. Never have to worry about him. Oh, Jesus. Nala, Kimbap, come on. There he goes. Ready? Nope. Don't do that. Don't do that. Ow. Kimbap. Oh my God. Okay, that's it for you. That's it, buddy. Good for you. Good girl. All right. So anyways, a little bit of distraction there. I need him to let go of my arm now. That's it, buddy. Good boy. That's it, Nala. That's it. All right, that was a quick little break from everything. Fabian, again, thank you very much for saying, hey, bro, and all good. All is good, all is well. Yeah, look at this guy. He is like a tiger, all right? I love this guy. He is just, I know, I said this to him the other day. The moment, hey, Kimbap, no. The moment, if I have a heart attack and I die in my apartment, Kimbap will maybe, out of courtesy, like a little bit of respect, he may wait 24 hours before he starts chowing down on my body. It is what it is, you know? I hear cats do that. I know he would do that. Nala, I don't think she would. I think she's a little too picky with her food anyways. I don't think she's into Asian food, so it's all good on my part. All right, anyways, welcome, guys. Thanks for joining the stream. Let's make sure everything is up and running. Oh, yeah, so today we're gonna do some photo and video edits. Swiss says, nah, that cat is gonna eat you in your sleep. Actually, there's, I was gonna say, I mean, I'm not that, it's not like I would sleep through that. But then again, I do get sleep paralysis. So can you imagine if just timing wise, I get hit with sleep paralysis and then he decides to, that's some demonic shit. I did watch Obsession over the weekend, last weekend. And oh my God, really impressive movie. I don't really like horror movies in general. But I thought that was really well done. I had a whole argument with my friend because he is more picky with his films and he thought it was the worst movie ever. Like only one other time did he ever step out of the theater, and he said this one was the second time. But he never stepped out because we were all there, but I disagreed. You might need a little soy sauce. No, I think teriyaki is the way to go, my friend. So yes, we're going to do some photo edits and video edits. Now, before I do my proper, I'm mostly going to focus on video edits. I wanted to show you guys, these are the key photos that are going to be part of my upcoming YouTube video. And I just wanted to show you guys how impressive I think the quality of Dehancer, or is it Dehancer? Yes, Dehancer. The quality of Dehancer. So just give me a second. I'm just going to grab a bunch of these photos. So I want to show you guys side by side. Oh, I guess I could just play it one by one. Oh yeah, okay, we're good, we're good. All right, so check this out. This is the original shot, okay? So technically, I think there's nothing wrong with this photo at all. Oh wait, hold on. Is that the... I'm a bit confused now. I think that's the ordering. Hold on. I guess we'll have to do it backwards. So basically, this was the original photo. Then I edited it. I hate saying that word, by the way. Edited it. I know there's a funny Instagram, TikTok where it's like, did you edit it? Yes, I edited it. This is how I edited this photo. And then I put it through Dehancer, and it gave this like really rich, very like, I don't know how to say, a very rich texture to it. I also applied a bit of that ISO, the grain effect. And in my opinion, I think it turned out really good. So then the next shot, this was just a casual, and again, I want to preface that none of these photos are, don't expect perfect, don't expect amazing. I am a wildlife photographer, or that tends to be the direction I go. I don't really do these types of urban street environments photography. I would love to learn, but it's not my forte. Hello, Guten Abend, Daytor says, hello, Yobel, in chat. Good evening. Good evening to you. Hopefully you're doing well, Daytor. Thanks for being here. Fabian asked, where did you take this photo? All of these were taken in Germany. So I was in Germany back in March and April, in between a few different projects I had in Africa. So I was staying with my friend. And so when I was in Munich, Germany, I decided to go on, a few different, bike rides, scooter rides, and just try to practice shooting photos. So look forward. I have a YouTube video coming out tomorrow, most likely, if I'm quick with my edits. And basically what you should expect in that video, here, let's go ahead and pop it open. It's going to be something like this. So imagine... Oh, here, hold on. Wrong place. Let's do it from here. Pause the music. So basically, it's about 20 minutes, but it's a full journey of about 7 days of me every morning going for bike rides and then trying to showcase some of the photos and videos that I took. So you'll get like basically inside scoop, if that makes sense, or like behind the scenes of, let's say I see a nice moment. So example here, you would see when I was on a scooter ride and then I saw some nice graffiti. So then, get some nice music. You see me heading over. There's another moment where I paused during my scooter ride. Wow. I noticed some graffiti on the side of a wall. Did I? I did. Listen to this. Pay attention to this guy. And then you'll get like these moments where you see how did I color grade, how did I go from the before and after for videos and photos. So basically it's that kind of style. So it'll be my first time really doing it in this style. So I do hope it turns out well. I do hope you guys check it out. Give me your thoughts. Tell me how I can improve. Because now that I have all these new cameras, I've got the Osmo Pocket. So I explain it in the beginning of my video actually. Let's see, where do I show it? There should be a quick little clip here where you see. Bum, bum, bum. There it is. It should be coming up here. I was wrong. Where the freak is that little... Okay, the point, oh, there it is. Boom, right there. See, now that I have all these new action cameras, that helps me be able to make videos by myself. Hopefully there will be some better quality to the content. Fabian says, I like walking around and snapping what I see. Hells yeah, I think it's really fun. It's a really good activity for anyone who's a photographer. And I got rusty. I live in Dubai, and it's not necessarily the most conducive to walking around to get shots. So this was really good for me in terms of practice. I wish I lived in a place where I could do this more often, but we'll see. We'll see what I can do. The video looks cool. Where can I watch it? So Fabian, you can check out my YouTube channel. I am mostly on YouTube these days. I've started an Instagram. Now I've shifted to YouTube. I've just put a link in the chat. This video is not out yet. I will most likely publish this video tomorrow. Like I said, I'm updating. So every time you'll see, like, I showcase the photo and the video moments. So for example, here you would see, like, here's what the photo looks like before and after. But now I want to go back to, in each of these photos, I want to actually update it with a revised version. So now that I've updated with Dehancer, which is a third-party plugin that I use, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So for example, here's the before. Then here's how I edited this photo. Not my best work. Again, I struggled a lot with this particular image. And then I put it through Dehancer, and again, in my opinion, it just made it feel a bit heavier. That's like one way I describe it. There's like a heavier feel to the colors, to the imagery. It feels richer and more vibrant. So, and I'm a fan of that. I quite like that look. And again, I added a bit of that noisy texture. So another example here. So this is the before unedited raw photo. Here's how I edited it with my presets, with my with just how I use my presets in Lightroom. And then here's what it looked like once I put it through Dehancer. Again, just giving it a nice, heavy, rich feel, which I'm a big fan of. And this way I can promote Dehancer in this video as well. What's happening? We got BC in the chat. BC going right away for some dubs. Did you win? Are you winning? Let me join the heist. Can I? I forgot how to join heist. Hello, good sir. Oh yeah, what other photos do I have? So then this one, same thing. You can see the before. Here's how I edited the photo. And then here's how I put it through Dehancer. And I like Dehancer's version once it's done. So this is now going to become my new workflow. When I'm editing photos, I've already started using Dehancer for videos. But now I'm going to use Dehancer for all of my top photos. So same thing. This is how I edited my photo within Lightroom using my presets and just custom edits. And then afterwards, I put it through Dehancer. And then this is the final result, which again, in my opinion, I'm a huge fan of. So yeah, so basically you can see for all of these, the before, here's how I edited the photo. Then here's how I put it through Dehancer. It just gives it like one extra, how do you say? It's like one extra coat of painting on the wall type thing. But that extra coat gives it the personality. I feel like I'm lacking personality up until that point. So this is one of my favorite examples. So then that was the before. Here's the after. I quite like how I edited this photo. You know, it's nice and vibrant, but it's also nice and bright. It's a very unique shot in the sense of how the lighting is cast across the photo. And then in this case, I put it through Dehancer, and again, it just gave it a rich tone. You know, like obviously I was adjusting within Dehancer. It's not like you just slap on a preset and it works. I had to spend the time to kind of manipulate it further, but I really like it. Is Dehancer an aspect in Lightroom? Yes, it is. So for example, let's say, we'll just take this one just to show you, BC. Let's say if I have this photo, I just right click, I go to edit in, and then I click on this one that says Dehancer Lightroom plugin. And then you just choose the settings. Then it will load up the program as like as part of a plugin, right? So then you'll see it load up here in a second. There it is. Okay. So then this is the program Dehancer through Lightroom, if that makes sense. And you have the ability to choose different films. So let's say if I just start from no edits, if I just choose the original shot, I can choose some of their film profiles once I activate. So then you get a sense of like, okay, let's see, do I want this AGFA, Scala thing? And again, I don't know the language of film photography. It was before my time, I never learned it. But, you know, it tries to mimic, it emulates a lot of those key film styles. Yo, Katzenell and Boggin says, yo. Katzenell and Boggin, I apologize. I didn't see your messages yesterday on the stream. My YouTube chat was broken, or it wasn't syncing to my OBS. So I apologize, I didn't see your messages. I hope you had a good day. And thanks for hopping in. And thanks for being here again. I'm just reviewing Dehancer. And I really have been blown away by the quality of Dehancer for not just video. Video I already knew, right? I made a YouTube video about it. I'm a huge fan. If you've been watching my stream, I use Dehancer on every one of my video, basically, like footage that I edit. I didn't know its game, okay? I apologize. I didn't know Dehancer's game when it comes to photo edits. And so now I'm applying it across everything. So for example, maybe if I choose, I usually have I have a few film looks that I really like. Or you know what, actually even this black and white looks fantastic. It does look pretty good. Which one do I like usually? I like this Kodak Arrow, and you can favorite your favorite ones and all that. So then let's say if I choose the Kodak Arrow color for 125, which is the one I tend to use the most, then I go over onto the right side, and usually one of the things I use all the time is the film compression. So I turn on film compression, I increase the tonal range all the way to 100 usually, and then I'll adjust the white point to bring back a bit of the light so it's not so flat of an image. So then I have the ability to bring back a little bit of the brightness of it, but usually I like making that tonal range all the way maxed out to 100 as a starting point. Then I'll turn on the print profile. So now here I can switch between, let's say, Kodak Endura glossy paper, Kodak 2383, Fujifilm 3513. I've been using Fujifilm the most out of all these photos. Probably, I don't know why, but maybe it's because I was in, you know, like I'm in winter vibe mode. I was shooting a lot of nature related things at times. And I feel that Fujifilm gives a nice cool tone to things. So it fits the winter aesthetic. But honestly, you can't go wrong. You just go, you know, photo by photo and see how you prefer it. Let's say if I choose the Fujifilm, then I usually will turn on the halation and the bloom effect to give it that nice vintage, like film look. And then I turn on the film grain. And I've been using the 35mm ISO 250. That's like the default one anyways, and it gives a nice texture. And so then there you go. And then if I really like this, let's say if there's nothing else I want to change, then I can also save this as a preset so then I don't have to waste time next time. And then I just hit OK. Then it basically processes it. It then updates Lightroom and it will add it as a secondary image. It is a bit heavy, so just FYI, it's like, you know, it's not like a super fast thing. You gotta, you know, like you can see here, right? It's taking a little bit for it to then export back into Lightroom. So if you're trying to do batch edits, I don't think this works for that. I haven't seen a way to do that. But for these individual photos, there you go. So both of these were edited with Dehancer, just using different profiles and just, you know, obviously I adjusted it slightly differently. But these are two different looks you can get from Dehancer. And then this was the one I did within Lightroom, which at the time, I quite liked how this looked. But now that I see, now that I put it through Dehancer, I can see there's another level that I can advance my photos. So I've never felt more impressed and more like an evangelist for this product than now. And if you've seen my recent Instagram posts, I did this recently for my Instagram photos. So for example, let's go to, where is my Mongolia photos? There you are. I did the exact same thing with my Mongolia photos, where each of my top photos, I actually put it through Dehancer, and the look and feel that I got feels much richer. Same qualifiers I just gave for this Munich shots. So here's some of the photos that I took, and then again, I just put it through Dehancer. I chose some film stock profiles or the print profiles, you know, going with a bit of a grainy look at times. One second, I need to load it in fully. Oh, the file cannot be found. Oh, my freaking I gotta connect my hard drives. Which one's disconnected? Give me a second. I gotta load up this photo. Ugh. Yo, Swiss Army, if you're still there, I'll send you a message either way. But you had mentioned you had some hard drive that you're recommending to me. Okay, there we go. I think I turned it on. I do need some hard drive recommendations because I keep running out of freaking space. Oh, and then if you are interested in trying out Dehancer, if you want to purchase it, I do have a promo code for that. Let me put it in the chat, !Dehancer. So if you use YobelPrize, you can get 10% off. How cool is that? And you support the channel by doing that. But yeah, like I genuinely feel very excited about this product. It's been working out fantastic for me. All right, now that my hard drive is loaded, I think I can show this. File could not be found. Let's give it a second. Come on. I do need to be careful because one of my hard drives keeps disconnecting because it's basically at 100%. I almost have it at, it's basically at like 99.99% full. And I know you're not supposed to do that, but I don't know what to do at this point. I'm so far into this. I mean, I do have it backed up digitally through Backblaze, but... All right, give me a second. It's still not loading. I gotta be super careful here. Where is my hard drive? Why is it hiding from me? Let me quit Lightroom and see if that helps. Okay, it is still not loading here, which is I mean, that is concerning to say the least, because it's the one that has like 44 terabytes worth of my content. And it has been ejecting several times recently. Let me try disconnecting again. Bear with me, guys. Ooh. All right, fingers crossed. I've re-powered on this freaking hard drive. Let's see if it works. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so Dehancer. So this is my next YouTube video. It's about 20 minutes long, somewhere around there. It will be published, I hope, fingers crossed, by tomorrow. Like I said, because now that I'm updating some of those photos with the latest versions, I just need to revise it, put it through the ringer one more time. And then I'm just working on like the thumbnails and all the other boring stuff that you need to do. Okay. Unfortunately, the thing's not showing up. Let me quit this as well. Give me a second. I'm assuming it will all be okay, but it is a bit nerve-wracking when one of your big hard drives don't seem to show up when you load it in. Okay, sounds like something I need to take care of probably after the stream, so we'll see. Jesus. In the meantime, I think even without that hard drive, I should be fine with some other footage that I'm trying to edit. I think it's outside of that, so give me a second. Let me load this back up. Now, the good news is I did back up everything to Backblaze very recently. So let's say my hard drive is scuffed. If it's completely destroyed, at the very least, it is backed up on the cloud. I just now have to go through the annoying step of bringing it all back, either through, actually that is still expensive because it's 44 terabytes worth. So pray for me that we won't actually have to get to that level, but we'll see. All right, let me just load up a few videos here. Ooh, we got an Anthony Bourdain video. All right, there we go. Let's load up my Uganda stuff. All right, so this is what I'm supposed to work on. We've got all of our footage from Uganda, and you can see here I've been going through each one, going through all the color grading process. Where did I end up? These all look like I color graded it. So I think I'm officially on day 3 when we go for the chimpanzees. So I think that's where we'll start. Let me see here. Yeah, so we're on to the green files. There we go. Okay, we're at the right spot. Let's proceed then with my color grading. In the meantime, like I usually do, I like to open up a few YouTube videos that we can watch while I edit. So this one we were starting to watch the other day, but it's from our boy, Colo Kino. Okay, this guy never misses. However, the video he released yesterday, when we were trying to watch it, he privated. So I'm assuming there was some glitch or something he needed to correct. But here we are the next day. He's published it yet again. So we're going to watch this as I work.
Miller's Planet. Did you know on Miller's Planet, only 1 hour and 40 minutes have passed since Interstellar premiered?
Well, that's relativity, folks.
Some form of intelligent being living outside of our solar system. Again, there is no confirmation.
Chris Nolan is yet to make his debut feature, but the movie about wormholes and space travel is already in theaters, and McConaughey is in the dang thing.
Can we talk about Einstein?
But it's not Interstellar.
No, of course not. I understand.
It's Robert Zemeckis' Contact, based on a book by Carl Sagan. Now, Carl Sagan is a frickin' genius, but he's struggling to make sure his fictional wormhole would work in real life. So he borrows the math from an actual theoretical physicist named Kip Thorne.
Carl phoned me. He said, my heroine traveling through a black hole to get to the star Vega. And I said, that's rather dangerous. Singularity in there, and you can't get through to the star Vega. So what you actually need is a wormhole.
The film's producer, Linda Obst.
Linda and I dated, and
he asked me to marry him.
she was too high-strung for me, and I was too nerdy for her.
It's probably great because we've remained partners and best friends ever since.
Anyway, time passes. Just an hour and 17 minutes of Miller time. Obst and Thorne start working on a...
Pause. Both my cats have settled down. Another thing, so as I was struggling behind the scenes trying to figure out what to do with the fact that my hard drive is not connecting, which it still isn't. So I'm not lying. It's in the back of my mind right now, I'm mentally stressing about it. In the meantime, my cats were going nuts. They were chasing each other, flying around my apartment. However, they've calmed down. So we got them just sleeping here, relaxing, sunbathing, if you will. Both of them just as if they weren't going nuts just a second ago. Good boy. Yeah. There you go. All right, so that's our quick little cat break. Let's get back into it.
Science fiction film where the wildest things on screen are real.
Hi, it's Linda Oakes calling. Is he there?
Linda called me up and said, would you like to brainstorm with me for a movie?
And I said, I'm so bored. I could, I just can't find one fun movie. Just everything I'm reading is terrible. And I said, Kip, tell me. He was working on gravitational waves. And I said, what would be the most astonishing discovery that could possibly be made on it? That's how Interstellar began. So we ended up puzzling out this trip through the cosmos, and we wrote a treatment.
Within a week, Steven Spielberg reads it and signs on to direct.
Then we went to work with Steven on working on the script. He had us go find a writer. He turned down my first 4 choices and selected the right writer, Jonah Nolan.
Jonathan, as he's prone to do, buries himself in the research. He enrolls in a workshop on relativity theory at Caltech. He has hundreds of discussions with Kip Thorne before he even puts a single word on paper.
When I was brought onto the project was to try to get the science right, to try to take a big idea and ground it as much as possible so you could feel it.
Theory of relativity is fascinating all by itself, but immediately becomes something very, very emotional. You talk about the distances between people.
And while he's writing it, Spielberg breaks away from Paramount. He takes his studio, DreamWorks, and goes over to Disney.
When that project kind of fell apart and Steven had to step away from Paramount, I was heartbroken. I spent three and a half years working on Interstellar, and all of a sudden it was dead in the water. I said, look, I know a director. I want to make a phone call.
So he calls his most trusted collaborator on Earth, his brother.
Pretty much everything my brother and I do, whether we're working on it together or not, we tend to bounce things off each other. So I'd been hearing about Interstellar for years while he was working on it with.
It's kind of crazy that so much emphasis is put on Christopher Nolan, but we don't get to hear as much about his brother. I mean, obviously, we're watching these and he's like super famous as well in his own rights, but...
Kip Thorne.
It was really a case of me saying, how would you feel if I took this and tried to combine it with some of my other ideas and kind of changed a bit what it was.
And hey, when the opportunity comes up for Christopher Nolan to direct a picture with a complex, migraine-inducing timeline, he's in before he even finishes reading the script.
Time has been a thing in my other films. In the case of Interstellar, I finally get to address time as a story point.
Okay, hold on. My hard drive has a freaking red light on it, which is beyond nerve-wracking. Let me turn this off. Okay. Let me look this up real quick, because that is not very encouraging. What is this? It's the SanDisk G-RAID 44 terabyte. Red light showing. A red light on your SanDisk typically indicates a drive failure, a dropped RAID connection, or a degraded RAID array. Do not format the drives. If the red light means a drive is offline, formatting it will delete your data. Download the management software. Okay. Completely shut down your computer and the G-RAID. Unplug the power and data cables for 1 to 2 minutes. Reconnect and power back on to see if it mounts. Check the individual drive LEDs. Open the front cover of the enclosure to see which specific drive has the red. If one drive is red and the other is blue, the red drive might be offline. If it cannot be brought back online, it may need to be replaced. If your RAID is set to RAID 1, well, unfortunately, it's set to 0 because I needed all 44 terabytes. So it is not necessarily safe. I have a Thunderbolt that has a solid red G. When I cycle, okay, it's a different product. Okay, well listen, not the most exciting of news, but it's all things that can be solved. All right, what's the biggest issue? It should be fully backed up into Backblaze. So worst case scenario, I just need to somehow recover the files from Backblaze. Now, unfortunately, because it's 44 freaking terabytes, it's not going to be the cheapest, I think, to bring it all back. Hopefully this one, best case scenario, I shut off the computer, I restart everything, it works just fine. Boom. Second best case scenario, or I guess worse than that, is it's unrecoverable and I need to like take it to a shop or reformat everything, let's say. In which case I lose all 44 terabytes. No, okay, we won't go that far yet. Second scenario, I take it to a shop and they're able to recover the files. Boom. Okay, a lot of work, but at least it's saved. Option 3, it's unrecoverable, so I need to reformat the entire drive. So then it's back to empty. And then I need to somehow, from Backblaze, bring it all back into the hard drive. Oh, what a nuisance. Well, I need to, let's see. Now, shout out to Swiss Army Cinema, who was just in the chat, because he did mention, here, let me just DM him real quick. Had fun in New York City. Nice, nice. By the way, my SanDisk 44 terabyte G-RAID stopped mounting to the computer. Hopefully fixable after stream. But what did you recommend again on large hard drives? Okay. Sorry guys. Kind of frustrating. But let's see. At the very least, I need to download this thing called SanDisk Professional Software Utility. Is that right? G-RAID Shuttle LED. Red LED on the G-RAID Shuttle. If there's a red light, it's either offline or dead. Jesus Christ. I wish they wouldn't say that. Or it's degraded. Or failed. The drive has a physical error. So it's one of these, unfortunately. Okay. Well, nothing I can do about it now, so let's just keep going. Let's just continue grading and
not a structural issue, not an idea of subjectivity versus objectivity. These kind of things are played with in the past. In the case of Interstellar, you get to make literal some of these ideas about time being relative.
But before you can sit in the director's chair, he has to get past Kip Thorne.
The guideline that we worked from is that nothing in the movie would violate well-established physical laws, and all the wild things would at least spring from science.
But the way I look at it, it's like, you know, you watch a James Bond film and Bond has to defuse a nuclear bomb. You don't really have to know how he's defusing the nuclear bomb. You just need to know that it's going to blow up if he doesn't do it. To me, that's the sort of guiding principle for the role of science in the film.
Chris and I brainstormed about the science every few weeks while he was working on the screenplay. And on several occasions he said, I need this. And I would respond, I don't think that can work. And he would say, go think about it. But I would go home, sleep on it, think about it, and I always found a way except once.
He wanted to take his hero back to Earth by a different route than the wormhole, 10 billion light years away from the Earth. How's he going to do it if it doesn't go through a wormhole? He said, well, I want to take him back faster than the speed of light.
And I said, no, it won't fly. There's no way. The laws of physics forbid that. And we went back and forth for 2 weeks, and finally he threw in the towel.
After that 2 weeks of arguing about it, I finally felt like I gained some understanding of relativity, you know, which is what Kip was taking great pains to explain to me, and the relationship between time and gravity and mass and everything, all the rest. And sort of got this intuitive sense of, okay, I kind of get why it's not possible. It really wasn't a question of Kip being the science police on the project. It was much more about him being a collaborator with this sort of vast body of really extraordinary and very surprising information about how the universe works that offered all kinds of really interesting possibilities for the story. And the things that he was able to open up for me were far more exotic and surprising than anything I could have come up with just, you know, as a screenwriter.
We really wanted the film to feel like we were being honest with the science, even though the audience can't be expected to understand it while they watch the film.
Meanwhile, the news that Christopher Nolan had signed a film at Paramount set off a quiet panic at Warner Brothers. Nolan was their director. He made him billions with the Batman.
Nice.
They were absolutely terrified of him making a hit picture for the rival studio. So Warner Brothers cut a deal. They would co-finance Interstellar alongside Paramount in exchange for a stake in the Friday the 13th franchise and the rights to a future Superman film. Nolan's space movie was now being paid for, in part, by Jason Voorhees and Clark Kent.
That's money.
Man, imagine being that powerful of a creator that these big-ass multi-billion-dollar companies are like fighting over you. Or they're so afraid, they're so in awe of your work and so afraid of you going to the other side that they rework everything just for you. That's crazy.
So the brothers finished the script, and now they got to cast the picture. First guy to sign up is Michael Caine.
Whenever he said, "You want to do a movie?" I say, "Yes." He says, "You want to read the script?" I say, "No."
Then Anne Hathaway joins.
You know, I had the advantage of coming to my brother's script that he'd been working on for several years, and one of the things I really loved about it was the character of Brand that Anne plays in the film. I thought it was just a wonderful role. I went to Anne with it because I knew she was very interested in science and would completely get this character and everything this character is about.
But Nolan still needed the lead, a guy the audience would follow across the universe. And his pick was Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Now you gotta remember, at this point in the game, McConaughey was not exactly Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
He was the stud who spent 10 years without a shirt on, leaning against Kate Hudson on a movie poster. He was Hollywood's official beach tan Texas beefcake.
Is that a problem?
But then he does something unusual. He just vanishes for 2 years. You can do the Miller's Planet math on your own on that one. And when he comes back, he's wearing a shirt. Killer Joe, the Lincoln lawyer, Hollywood had a name for what was happening. The McConaissance.
Good.
In the meantime, Nolan caught an early cut of a small film called Mud.
My friend Aaron Ryder produced it, and he asked me to take a look at an early cut of it, and because he was very proud of it, and, you know, but they were trying to figure out, you know, whether it was finished or, you know, everything. Jim McConaughey was a revelation. I was like, wow. I had no idea. I mean, I'd always liked him in, you know, popcorn roles and a lot of great romantic comedies he'd done and everything, but I just never seen him do what he did in that film.
He came up to me, we were at an event, and I just ran into him, and he came up to me and he goes, "Mud." And I went, "Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie." He goes, "I think you were great in it." That's all he said. Then I get a call from my agent saying, "Christopher Nolan's got a new film coming out. He's interested in you, possibly."
We thought about it, and we had 2 different studios involved in the project, and they were very taken aback by the idea of Matthew doing it. It was not an easy sell at the time. He was doing an HBO show, and at the time it was like, oh, he's going to be an HBO show, what does that mean for his feature career, whatever. But of course it wasn't an HBO show, it was True Detective, the first season, it was incredible. So that hit, Dallas Buyers Club became this thing, and then he won the Oscar by the time the film came out. And the great part about that was the studio thought we were the smartest people in the world. We got incredibly lucky. I don't know, we connected at exactly the right time, and he connected to the part, really wanted to do it.
I had a bit of a concern going into it, wondering if that was going to be overbearing.
McConaughey thinks Christopher Nolan is going to be this rigid, perfectionist British dictator.
Is this going to be like a guy who does 40 takes? No, he actually is always looking for the imperfection. The actual shooting of any scenes felt very intimate, very similar to shooting an independent film.
Now, because the movie takes place over decades, Nolan cast 5 different actors to play 2 characters. Murph was played by Mackenzie Foy, Jessica Chastain, and Ellen Burstyn, while Tom was played by Casey Affleck and Timothy Chalamet. About this kid Chalamet, he has stated in the past that the reason he became an actor was because he saw The Dark Knight and was awestruck by Heath Ledger's performance.
Me?
So this is his absolute dream role. He thinks he's made it to the big leagues.
When I got the part,
I remember, I feel like a bunch of these clips have gone viral of late, but I remember, or I don't remember Timothy Chalamet was in this movie until it went viral. I was like, holy shit, he was in the movie? And it's like, it finally clicked. I was like, oh, okay.
I Googled the project, and the original story was about a father and his son
So I thought, oh man, I've made it. And then obviously they reworked it, and young Tom was a smaller part, but that's okay.
I worked 10 production days. You obviously worked probably 60 or 90 on that movie. For me, it was a humble 10 days, but they put me on a trajectory, you know. It gave me the fuel I needed to keep going. That remains my favorite project I've ever been in. That movie to me is really like the origin point. I was very moved, I was sad to be leaving, you know. And I went in my trailer, and I went in the bathroom, and there was a huge turd in my toilet. And I was like, I felt so disrespected because I thought, oh man, I know I'm not the star in this movie. But I went up to Nolan on set too. I said, down my trailer. And he kind of pointed to Matthew, and I looked at Matthew, he had this devilish grin on his face, like right now, man, you know.
Souvenir.
A little souvenir. That's a true story, though. It's a true story.
I think that's great.
You think that's great?
So he shows up to the big Hollywood premiere, watches the movie.
And I saw it and I loved it, but then I went home to my dad and I like wept for an hour.
Why?
Because I just figured my part was like bigger or something. I'm the only person that gets sad every time Casey Affleck comes on screen, you know, because that's when I'm out the movie.
Yeah.
But I got a good friend named Ryan. He says, you know, Interstellar falls off at minute 37.
Then there's John Lithgow, who took the part because of this scene.
We go see the New York Yankees play in what looks like a community recreation center ball field because, you know, there's only 10% of the world's population left, and yet we're trying to keep alive the way things used to be. And of course, I was the old man.
But for everybody sitting in the
I
theater,
don't remember him in the
biggest
movie
surprise
either.
of the whole picture is Matt Damon.
I thought that script was brilliant, and I called him and said I'd love to be in it. And Chris said to me, you know that saying, there are no small parts, there are only small actors? And I said, yeah, of course. And he goes, well, this is a small part. I think I shot 4 days on that movie, and there's a scene where Matthew and I, wrestle on a glacier, and they said, we need you to fly up to Calgary for rehearsal and fittings, and so I flew up to Calgary, and I got there. We went into this room and put on these spacesuits, and he had Matthew and I like fully wrestling in this, like months ahead.
Today's scene, I think, would be a good opportunity for me to take my shirt off.
His name isn't on the poster. He's not in the trailer. He doesn't even show up to the premiere. You're sitting in the theater. 2 hours in, you're on an ice planet, and suddenly Jason Bourne wakes up out of a space pod. What the hell are you doing to me? Just a side observation, Matt Damon was stranded on man's planet in Interstellar, and obviously on Mars in The Martian.
And then Ridley came with this project, and that was the first thing I said to him. I said, you know, I haven't worked in a long time. The last thing I did, I played a guy who was stranded by himself on a planet. Might not be the smartest thing to follow that up, playing a guy stranded by himself on a planet.
But the most important casting decision on Interstellar had nothing to do with the actors. Christopher Nolan had shot every single one of his studio films with cinematographer Wally Pfister, but right before Interstellar, Pfister left to go direct his own movie. So Nolan picks this young Dutchman named Hoyte van Hoytema. Now Hoyte's resume is fascinating. He shot The Fighter, which is about guys punching each other in Massachusetts, and Her, which is about Joaquin Phoenix falling in love with his cell phone. Not a slam dunk choice to shoot the Milky Way, but Hoyte turns out to be the ideal guy Nolan needs.
At some point, you know, we met and we talked and we connected, and somehow there's not so much more to it.
One of the things he was able to do for me that I absolutely loved is achieve a degree of spontaneity and simplicity in the way he shot the film that you rarely see on such a huge film.
Hoyte was determined to show us that we could handhold the IMAX camera, because we'd tried before and never been able to do it. I guess what we'd never tried is what he did, which is pick the thing up and not worry about how heavy it was. How he did it, I have no idea. He's just a very strong guy, clearly. But that freed us up to shoot more of the film in IMAX.
And Christopher Nolan marvels at this crazy Dutchman permanently destroying his own spine, and he falls completely in love. I'm telling you, that is exactly how bromances start.
I like this guy. I mean, the fact that he puts his whole body into it is like, that's commitment.
Art in the Christopher Nolan universe.
These Dutch guys are pretty strong at times. Working with him was a joy.
Nolan started shooting in Alberta, the same location he'd shot Inception's Snow Dream Lair 4 years earlier.
A lot of the great westerns were shot outside Calgary. Things like Unforgiven. The first Superman that Dick Donner did, the film was shot there. And one of the reasons is it has these sort of gentle rolling hills and then mountains in the background. So there's a very grand landscape to it. It's really an ideal place to get that kind of beautiful vista that we wanted.
They built the farm.
We spend so much of the film in the farmhouse, it'd be silly not to build it.
It was actually built in a very practical way and really felt
like it had been laid out according to the demands of that landscape and the people who would be farming there, and it had a good sense of history. It was a nice place to be, actually.
And to shoot the drone chase through a cornfield, they planted 500 acres of real corn.
We really wanted to get some sense that this corn was being farmed somewhere that it probably shouldn't be, and indeed they don't farm a lot of corn where we were farming it in Calgary, because the wind out of the mountains can kill it very easily.
But luckily, on Man of Steel, Zach had grown a bunch of corn first one, so I was able to call him up and say, well, how much can you really grow, practically? How much can we pay to grow and everything? And they'd done, a couple hundred acres. So we looked into it. We found that where we wanted to build our farmhouse, a little close to the mountains, so they weren't sure.
You grow corn here, you're living on the edge. This would be on, as I said to them at the time, this is kind of on the edge of common sense.
We were sort of marginal as to whether it would actually grow or not.
We made a strange deal. We got involved in the corn business. Basically, we invested in the crop.
But in the end, we got a pretty good crop, and we actually made money on it.
But I went out there when I knew we had closed off that production and had a great day. Blinded, just doing it.
It's fun.
Just not being able to see you doing 85 through that stuff.
Oh, really? Yeah. So we would have made even more money if we hadn't done that.
For the dust storms, Nolan studied Ken Burns' documentary, The Dust Bowl.
We saw this cloud coming in, black dirt. And I'll never forget my grandmother. She said, "You kids run and get together. The end of the world's coming."
I really wanted to try and bring the audience's attention to the idea that this sort of thing really can happen. And it struck me that the imagery that you can find was so much more extraordinary than anything you see in a science fiction film. And indeed, in our portrayal of it, we had to, frankly, water it down.
He loved the interviews with the old survivors so much, he actually licensed the real footage and put it into the opening of his picture.
Mom said she had every crack stuffed with rags, and she would wet them down. She'd hang sheets over everything where dust might come in, but it didn't keep it out.
And on the set, he brings in these giant industrial fans, and he just blasts the actors with hundreds of pounds of cellulose dust.
Something like a dust storm is very, very difficult to do with visual effects. As soon as the dust is in the air, it completely transforms the lighting environment and how the light reacts. But to do something that actually really looks real and really fits in with the tone of the rest of the film that you're struggling to give some reality to, you really have to do that for real.
But the dirt is nothing compared to Iceland.
So we did 3 days out on the water, standing in, 2 foot deep water in the freezing cold. And I've never had a crew complain quite so much about, they really, really didn't like it. It wasn't the usual joking, they really didn't like it.
They go there to shoot the alien planets, and the weather there is completely miserable. We're talking 100-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah, it actually lifted the asphalt off the road and threw it to one side. I mean, it was bizarre, and we were out there trying to shoot with actors kind of bracing themselves in the wind and everything. But
you have a mountain guide on set, and so you listen to them in terms of at what point they think the gusts might be too fast.
Well, I was sort of enjoying it. But they get that sort of, everybody rises to it, and you feel people really come together, and that's when you feel the spirit of the collective endeavor, and that's what's fun.
So we would work up on the glacier, get as many shots as we could, and then the point at which the safety guys felt like the gusts were beginning to show too much strength, we would all hunker down and make our way back down in the vehicles.
Chris being Chris, he was obviously very upset at the idea of all of us sitting around twiddling our thumbs back at the hotel, and we just wanted to get on with shooting, so he whisked us all out into the parking lot where we shot some inserts as long as we could.
Stop it! I've almost never been at some unbelievably far, distant location and you make a shot in the parking lot. It's just a point of pride,
He even makes them drag these 12-ton spaceship props out to their farthest, most frozen corners of the country.
So we can put our spaceship on a truck and drive it up and crane it into place and all that. So
we had to bring in a huge crane so we could pick up one of the spaceships, so it had to be a sturdy road.
The location was perfect, really, in that the sand underneath the water was very, very firm, allowed us to put our very heavy spaceship out in the middle of it.
And Iceland nearly killed Anne Hathaway. Her spacesuit wasn't sealed properly.
Human error. We didn't close it all the way, and you're in the suit for a few, hours and hours and hours, so there's about an inch opening in it, and I'm sitting in the water, which is not very warm.
It filled with freezing water, and she went all hyperthermic on them.
So I didn't want to hold up shooting or say anything. And at some point, I wasn't sure if I could feel my toes, or then they started to tingle, and then I was feeling all sorts of weird flashes, and things were getting a little like kind of hazy around the edges.
She told Nolan she was going under.
And Chris was like, okay, let's roll right now.
To be fair to myself, there wasn't anywhere to go. I mean, we were in the middle of a vast expanse of water. We just had vehicles that had driven us out, so there wasn't any quick solution.
So after nearly dying in the Arctic, the actors are thrilled to go back to the nice, warm sound stages in Los Angeles. Except it turns out going to space is quite discomforting.
You right?
Yeah, I just need a minute.
To recreate zero gravity, Nolan has these big, famous movie stars strapped into heavy harnesses, hanging from the ceiling on thin cables day after day.
There's a full harness, legs and torso, and it's 4 strings, so you're fully suspended. You lean up, you come up. You want to put your head down, you can go upside down. You just give it a little tap on whatever you're doing, and then they send you on the wires as far as you want to go.
You take a camera crane, and instead of putting a camera on it, we put an actor in and wheeled them around, and they had to be harnessed that way for hours sometimes.
I'm on a gimbal that he's holding on to the other side. And I remember going like, why wouldn't you use the big crane? He's like, no, because it's a waste of money. It's not as, it's either only as good or not as good as this.
Okay, quick pause. We finished editing. I just did some casual color grades to all of these shots from day 4. 2, 3, or day 3. This is when we get to the chimps. These are all the 25 frame shots with the Nikon ZR. I don't really feel like I need to color grade too much of the Osmo Nano shots or the action cameras in general. Just because like I throw on the LUT, it gets the job done. You know, you don't need something too crazy.
What I learned.
So I think, for example, let's see. This is just with the LUT thrown on with nothing else done to it. And for now, I think it's fine. Once we get into like proper, let's make some videos with all of this, then I might do a little bit more like specialized color grading. But right now it looks decent. But since I hopped over to this video, I am curious. There was a moment where we parked the car and we were following these chimps, or not chimps, these monkeys were hopping around in the treetops. So I was trying my best to try to capture when it hops from one side of the road to the other. I've always wanted to get this shot. I don't think I actually got it cleanly with my main camera, but I think you will be able to see moments maybe from this action camera. There's definitely a couple times I think where it did the leap, and I just barely, yeah, I didn't get it centered, but let's see. I'm curious myself. Oh, and this is perfect. So also, just on a side note, I'm using the Freewell variable ND filter on the front of my lens. So I mentioned that's another review that I want to make a video on very soon because they gave it to me. So I've been able to travel now for about 2 months with it on 3 different country projects. So now I'm just trying to collect all of these B-roll where you can see it in action and then show the quality of it, and then I'll provide my review. In typical wildlife fashion, every time you take a break, the action happens. So the moment you look away, the action will happen then. It's like almost 9 out of 10 times. Like I said, I think I did predict it, or I was prepared for it. I just don't think I grabbed it cleanly. At least once, let's see. And the name of the game for wildlife photography, video stuff, is just patience, you know? Oh, see, there it was. Oh, yeah, yes. I swear to Christ, it happens every single time. You take a break, because the whole time I was just pointing the camera, God knows how long, but you know, it may not look like it, but it is exhausting just having to hold up your gear for seconds or minutes, hoping for some action to happen. And if it doesn't happen, you're just working out for nothing. So that whole time I was just having the camera up in the air. And then the moment I decide to take a freaking break, I look away just to do whatever, and that's when the monkey decides to do the hop. But you can see, thankfully, I did capture it with the action camera. I just didn't capture it with my camera. Well, not to repeat everything. Let's see, where was that? Okay, let's just watch from here. So I know that that monkey is prepared to do the jump. I know it's all in my head. I know exactly what I want and what I'm expecting. And I just took a moment to pause and... Yeah, see, even right now I'm recording. So I can see in the back of my camera, I've got the recording button on. Anticipating. Ooh, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. I'm just recording dead air, basically. My arms are getting tired. Then I pause.
Yeah. Oh, I missed it. I knew I should have kept recording.
I knew. I didn't know, though. You know, just, if I knew, I should have kept going, and I didn't do it. But at least I did capture it with the action camera. So this is why I've been such a fan of these action cameras since I've gotten them. Because now it gives you a second chance at things. Hells yeah. So at the very least, this will be some fun B-roll when I make like a travel vlog from that.
I knew I should have kept recording. Oh, you know what? I might have gotten on this though. Oh,
Yes, I did.
I was waiting for that one. And then I took a pause. I was like, oh, and then it goes.
It's like the shoe builder.
Yeah. There's at least one more, but it's a baby, so no.
All right, at least I got it on the action camera. Oh, yeah, okay, maybe I did get one. Oh, buddy, this could be one that I got. Okay, I was recording, I think. It's getting ready, it's getting ready. You know what? I did get that one. I do remember getting that, but I don't think I got it cleanly the whole time. Let's see. Is it this moment here? Yeah, it's this moment. Okay, okay. Let's see. Let's check this out. Yeah, see, I missed. So this one was just full-on user or human error. So I did at least record the right moment, but I couldn't keep the framing. So my tracking skills were not the best there. I was like, okay, but I've got room to improve. Oh, so close. All right, well, it's good to see the other side of it.
I got part of it, but my aim was off.
Yeah, we know. All right, so the point was, I think for these action camera shots, I don't really feel the need to fully color grade them just yet. This is more just for my own reference. And if you're curious, this is how I travel. So this is the first time I had this whole setup, by the way. So first time I had the action cameras, the Osmo Nano, the Action 6, the Osmo 360. First time I had the cotton carrier vest. So now you can see I was carrying the 400mm lens on the front of the vest. And then usually I would have my secondary camera on a side holster. So shout out to Nikon. I was shooting with two Nikon ZRs, and they really held up very well, I will say. And same thing, the Freewell ND filter did really good job. So for my review, it's definitely going to be a positive one. Because I was shooting with both. Oh, and this is actually a good moment to show as well. Because that was one thing that's frustrating. It has nothing to do with just Freewell. It's whenever I'm switching from photo to video mode, it is annoying having to take off the ND filter so that I could shoot photos without having, you know, it being underexposed. Man, my heavy breathing gives me motivation to just stick to going to the gym, get back into proper fitness.
Go for it. Go for it. Thank you. Thank you.
I think what a consideration that I have is, depending on how much of this footage I do have of the full trip, ideally I could make like just an entire YouTube video of all of this. You know what I mean? Like unedited, start to finish, like the entire chimp trek. This is what it looks like. But if I recall, some of these cameras, they overheat after a while. Definitely this the Osmo Nano. I think I could only record like maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time. The Action 6 and the Osmo 360 though, I think they lasted almost the entirety. So it just requires me to have to go through all the footage.
Thank you.
I think this is the first chimp that we saw that day. Oh yeah, so I've mentioned this before, but when I'm taking clients with me for like my organized tours, usually my focus is more on capturing the guest as opposed to capturing the wild, especially if they're photographers. You know, you let them position themselves wherever is best to get the shot. And then I'm basically just there to be the behind the scenes, hopefully get some nice moments of them. Man, what I wouldn't give to have the new 120 to 300 f2.8 lens. I just need to have a chat with Nikon.
Tough angle, yeah. Oh, hey. Oh, yeah. Sometimes they pee on you.
Do they?
Yeah.
If you feel like maybe trying to extend a little bit ahead.
I did end up, yeah, so this actually ended up being one of the better captures I got of the chimp here. So this is the beauty of shooting with that 400 lens. You can get these nice close-up shots.
Yeah, go for it.
But of course, I was shooting more video. My guests were doing photos. So it's a different story for photography.
Just a little.
Like you can see what I'm filming here. I think it looks good for video, even with all the obstructions and the branches in the way. But like if you want to still capture like my guest, Dennis, he's there for photography. It's a different story where like you're ideally looking for that clean shot. And that branch in the front can be a bit obstructive or kind of ruin the moment. So in some ways I found getting into videography was a bit more liberating, or it's a bit more freeing in terms of the direction you can take. Or I guess more flexibility, maybe? Now the one problem with this shotgun mic is that it does block the view. So now you can't really see what I'm shooting, for what it's worth. I mean, it is just a behind the scenes thing, but.
Feel free to tell me to move.
Yeah, you know what? Part of me feels like I could just post this as a YouTube video on its own. You know what I mean? It's like you get a nice little day in the life almost of like here's literally what a chimp trek looks like. How long is this video? Let's see. Starting from here. So this is at 13:09:23. So this is at 9:23, and it goes until what? How much do I have this recorded? 9:20. Yeah, it's like, well, I got like about 30 minutes plus. What about the Action 6? I think the Action 6 held up pretty well without running out of battery, I think. Let's see. From here. Yeah, I think this is almost the entirety. Oh, yeah. Let's see. So this is from 46:56 to 58:43. Yeah, so it's like over an hour, right? Hour and 10 minutes? Something. Man, I can't do quick math. But I'm pretty sure this is like the entire trek without any cuts. Let's see. What's happened in Cyronia says my Action 4 while streaming lasted about 1.5 hours. Okay, yeah. Which is pretty impressive. Yeah, because this is the Action 6. So I'm assuming it should at least hold up nicely. And I was shooting at the lowest possible. I think I was shooting at 4K 25 frames. So I wasn't like, yeah, because my goal was not to get like the fast frame rates. I just wanted whatever would last the longest. So yeah, this is at 4K 25p. I just want to see, I'm assuming this is not an actual cut. It's just the clip ends and it starts up on the next one. Yep, so that's clean. What about the next one here? Now the problem is the Action 6 point of view is not as cool as shooting. Oh, but the battery did die here, I think. Maybe? Let's see, because it is a jump cut here. And you see me playing with it, so I might have swapped out batteries here. Yeah, I did. Oh, you can see I had the battery in front of me. All right, so when did the battery die? And the battery did not last as long on these treks compared to when I was in Munich, because obviously the weather was much colder, so it didn't have as many issues. Here it was overheating, let's see when. 46:58 till 40, what did I say? 46:58 until, okay. So it almost lasted an hour before the battery died. So, I mean, that's not too bad. Especially, again, given the conditions here. It wasn't like super hot, but it was probably in the mid-20s Celsius. And then how about here? So this continues.
Because I felt something very squishy on my left foot. I was like, huh.
Oh, I stepped in shit.
Pretty close to the chimp end.
Yes.
You know, maybe 2 or 3 times it.
Okay, and then this time it lasted a bit longer. Because it went all the way until the end of the track here. Yeah, okay. So it lasts pretty well. Pretty long time. Cyronius, what's happening, my friend? Quick little thing here. One of my hard drives died on me, which is a bit nerve-wracking because it's the one that has 44 terabytes worth of my footage, especially all my key footage. Now, good news is it is all backed up to the cloud, so, you know, worst case, it's all there, but it's 44 terabytes worth. So I got the red ring of death, the equivalent of the red ring of death. I think that's back in the Xbox days, right? 44 terabytes. Yeah, it's on a single disk. It's a RAID drive, or it's one of those RAID disks. But I had it on no mirroring, because I needed all 44 terabytes, basically. So I turned the RAID off. It's a SanDisk G RAID 44 terabytes. And I have no one to blame but myself because I had it packed to the brim. It was literally all 44 terabytes is full. And I think you're normally not supposed to have your drives, basically. I think there's like certain percentage of the drive you should always have open, which I didn't. And I'm like, honestly, no, okay. I'm continually editing from that drive specifically for various moments. So unfortunately, I think at some point it ejected too many times, and now it's not showing up in my disk utility. And then when I looked at the light on the front of the drive, it had this nice little red line, this like red light coming through. So I think I've destroyed it. So after the stream, I think I just need to reset my computer. The instructions I saw online was like, just turn everything off, turn it back on, see if it's working. If it's not, I need to download something, see if I can fix it. Maybe I'll have to take it to a shop. I have no idea. Now it's a G RAID. It's a hard drive, or what do you call it? HDD as opposed to SSD. So the good news is, my understanding is those drives, usually it's a bit easier to recover files, because I've had issues with portable SSDs where it got corrupted, and when I took it to a shop, there was nothing they can do to recover it. However, they mentioned with HDDs, actually it's much easier. So fingers crossed there. You're asking, did you attempt to RMA or see if you have any recovery? What is RMA? I have no idea. Recovery mode something? Hey, what is this footage? Oh, I had the Osmo Pocket 3 running. Oh, I remember now, because I wasn't really planning to do this, but I think I had, because my porter, that's right. My porter was carrying my backpack. So I set up the Osmo Pocket 3 on the front shoulder strap. So technically, now you get an extra angle of me. Ah, genius. I'm such a genius. Wow. I forgot how smart I am. I'm kidding. But that's nice. So then hopefully there will be some interesting moments where I can have footage of me in action. It just depends on the, if my porter is able to follow me properly. So hopefully there's a few moments there. Saroni says, RMA is return merchandise authorization, aka replace the product with warranty covers. I don't think it's under warranty anymore. I think I bought this back in 2024. Yeah, I don't know. Also, I don't know if I need to replace it. Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I don't know if it gets fried once. Let's say if I reformat it or if I recover it, do I really feel like I need to get a new one, or is it fixed at that point? Okay. Man, I look so ridiculous. Man, this Pocket 3 withstood a lot of wear and tear. Oh, there's the chimp. Chimp sighting. Yeah, we got lucky for a little bit here because the chimp came out into the open. It didn't last too long, but there's a few moments where we had the chimp out. And you can see here, the lighting isn't necessarily the best. Unfortunately, the clouds lifted there as we got out. So you had a bit of harsh sunlight coming through compared to if the clouds had come back in, we would get it less harsh. Saronia says, did the drives come with it or separately? Man, I have no idea. I think I bought this locally, so I didn't purchase this one online, I think. So I should be able to just quickly. So once I'm done with the stream, I'll just have to do a little bit of just logistical stuff. I'll have to double check if I have the receipts or if I can remember the key details. But yeah, honestly, I'm not sure. The first step I need to do is I'll reset the computer, see if it's working just fine. If it still is disconnected, if there is that issue, then I'll have to either, like you said, maybe look for the warranty, see if I can reach out to the store that I bought it from and what my options are. Maybe they have some information there. Alternatively, I might have to go to one of those recovery, whatever stores nearby that does like the, recovery services. Siren is asked, where did you get it? I got it from one of these local shops. I don't think it means anything. I think it's called Advanced Media Technology, something like that. AMT. Advanced Media. I just have like this subtle memory that I went into their shop and bought this 44 terabyte thing. Man, I can't get over how ridiculous I look. But hey, this is what you got to do. This is what it looks like to get the shots. But it is always fascinating. Like, you can get pretty close to these chimps, and genuinely, they don't seem to care. It's just, you got to be smart about it. But Ceremonies asks when. Oh, did I misread you? Wait, he said, when did you get it? Did the drives come with it or separately? When did you get it? If it's more than a year, probably unlikely. Yeah, I got this back in 2024, probably end of 2024, or like maybe around the summer to fall of 2024. Now, with the credit card that I use, I think it usually extends my warranty for whatever I purchase by up to a year. So technically, there could be that extension. So let's say I purchased this and it came with a 1-year warranty. Technically, I think that means I have 2 years worth. So I might literally be right on the edge of that. Let's say if I bought this back in July of 2024, then that means I have until July 2026, right? So maybe it's right into the, yeah. So the point is I can't hold off on this. Most likely tomorrow I'll have to double check everything. But that's on the back of my mind, man. So like, even for today's stream, like, part of me is just like feeling antsy. Like I just need to end the stream so I can shut everything down and see what's up. Because that was the first time I saw the red light on there. I was like, oh Christ, this is not good. Siren says, oh geez, yeah, it's everyone has that story, right? You can't be in this line of work and not have a corrupted file at some point. Thankfully, I did do the right thing in that I had it backed up to the cloud at least. So there is at least a little bit there to saving grace wise, but man, it doesn't feel good. That's for sure. Sarah says, I don't like using any of those little box NOS type devices. It's not a NOS. I know, because part of me was like, I should have invested in one of those NOS systems because it sounds like that's the best for scalability. Whereas right now I just have a daisy chain of a bunch of different hard drives. Now, Cyronius, he had mentioned a solution. I wonder if I can find... He had sent me something before. Let's see if I can find it. I could have sworn he had sent me something recently. Maybe I missed it, or maybe I just dreamt up a scenario in my head. Oh, maybe he sent it as a message in my live stream, in which case I can't find it. Dang it. Siren says, I use Unraid where I can monitor each drive individually. Interesting. Unraid. Frustrating stuff, man. But, side note, Ooh, look, it's me. I forgot I filmed this. Because then, you know what? This is interesting. I have some footage here. This actually turned out really nice in terms of the color grading. I just set up the camera randomly in one of the lodges. So I think this will be a potential YouTube video I can publish. Okay, sorry guys, I'm a bit distracted right now trying to figure out what the hell to do with my situation. Let's get my head back in the game. But yeah, Cyronies, one thing I was saying, and I was starting my stream off talking about this. Oh, but I can't show it now because the freaking hard drive situation. Dehancer. I don't know if you personally use Dehancer, Cyronius, because I know generally speaking it's usually related to like videography or like color grading, to do like film emulation. But I started testing it with my photos, and Dehancer has been giving me really awesome results. So like in addition to my own presets that I use for my photo edits, as like a final step, I've been throwing it into Dehancer just to see what kind of a look it can give me. And it's been really nice. Okay, now I just opened up Lightroom again. You can see it's kind of buffering here. I think because of that disconnect with one of my hard drives. So fingers crossed, nothing else is broken. God, thank Christ I backed it up. I not that long ago, maybe like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I finished backing up. I think it's like 150 terabytes of stuff, and like everything in front of me is crazy. I've seen what it can do. I feel like it has some powerful features you can't get in Lightroom / Photoshop. Yeah, here, let me show you. I wanted to show you elsewhere within Lightroom. Let me show you. Photo challenge. There it is. So these are the photos basically after I put it through Dehancer. Each of the results, big fan. It gives it, the way I described it earlier is it gives it a like nice personality to the photos. Definitely adds a bit more rich texture, and I was applying a lot of noise, so I put in a bit of that graininess to the shots, but I felt like it does a good job of compressing my shots in a way where I can have these like very rich colors throughout, and then bring back a little bit of contrast when necessary. But yeah, I just really like how it comes across. And it also kind of fits my current style of shooting, where I kind of prefer this very dark tone to everything. So like kind of like a low light vibe. Yeah, kind of like these low light vibes for sure. But then applying that grain effect, getting that compression, mimicking some of that like halation or bloom or kind of shine in some of those moments. And then these shots turned out really nice with Dehancer. Yeah, so it just adds like this, I don't know, like a rich texture, vibrant texture layer on top of my image. So like for me, I really liked my own presets. I mean, listen, I like how I edit. That's why they're my presets. But I will say, if let's say when I finish with the presets, my own, and then after I edited within Lightroom, maybe the results in my head were like, hey, these shots are kind of at, let's say, 75 to 80% good quality. Not like photos for the most part, on average, that I'd be like, these are my top photos in the world. It's not really my, I don't really do a lot of street photography related things or urban shots. But, I was like, oh, these are decent photos. It is what it is. But then once I put it through Dehancer, it's a whole other story. Now I'm like, okay, these are like, 85 to 90% quality shots. So, and then this is probably the hero shot because this is of that tower that I shot with the 400 and, with the clouds in the background and all that. So, yeah. So anyways, just a quick little discovery. I'm updating this YouTube video. Hopefully I'll have it published tomorrow, which is basically all these photos you see here, I'm just going to be making a video about it. So the photo shooting challenge I did in Munich, and then you'll see a lot of like behind the scenes of me scooting around the city as I look for these moments, and then as I shot it, and then add in some of my voice narration, all that fun stuff. But yeah, so I'll update these into that video and then give a shout out to Dehancer. So hopefully, listen, Dehancer, they did work with me, right? They gave me the product before and I made a YouTube video about it. So this is not a sponsored video that I'll be making, but hopefully I can do more work with these guys because I am an evangelist. I was like, God dang. Now I'm going to use this across both, you know, photo and video. Fedorevsky's in the chat. Fed says, howdy, howdy, howdy. Good to see you, man. I feel like it's been a while since we saw you here, so good to see you. You're catching me at a very interesting time here. One, I'm talking about Dehancer again. I know, Fed, you're using a different program, which is, I think, considerably more powerful, if I understood you. But I'm giving a shout out to Dehancer because I actually applied it to all my photos, and it really did wonders to my photos. Not to knock on my photo editing style or my presets. I think my presets are great. It gives at least my photos the ability to feel lived in a nice way. But then this gives it personality, is what I was saying, like that extra level. So, yeah, look forward to it. I'm hopefully gonna post that video tomorrow. And if you want more examples of Dehancer, the last 2 posts I published on Instagram, the photos that you'll see there are all same thing, like edited with my photo presets and my way of editing, and then I applied Dehancer on top of it to give it a bit more of a vibes look. So you can kind of see it here, right? So these were after I graded everything. Anyways, how are you doing, Fed? I saw you had a YouTube video. I had it lined up to watch at some point. We haven't gotten to it yet. And I was mentioning I'm a little bit distracted today because my hard drive, which has 44 terabytes on it, it did crash on me, and it got like a red light in the front of it. So my assumption is it is actually dead in some ways, and I'll need to do a hard reset of my computer and then see if it's salvageable. So I am a little bit distracted right now, but I have a lot of work to get done, so I'm trying to proceed, if you will. So let's continue with the color grading of my Uganda footage. And let's keep watching this Interstellar video.
Earned in like independent filmmaking is still the best way to get this.
But Nolan, he doesn't want them looking at a green screen while they hang there. So he builds these huge screens outside the spaceship windows, and he projects the actual VFX of outer space.
Also, my cats say hi. Jesus, Kimbap is like baked into the bed. Good boy. Good boy. Man, he's like gone in a food coma after I fed him his treats. And there's Nala. So everyone's here, full house. Let's get with it. Fed says, I've been a bit busy because my grandma was on her last. She passed away. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Earlier today. Sorry to hear that, Fed. I mean, obviously, you know, it's never easy news when people pass. I think my grandma passed away. I guess I only knew one grandma. I don't like think back to these things too often, but I hope you were able to be there with her, whether it was in her last moments or just throughout. Hopefully you had a good relationship with her and all that, of course. Yeah, because when I think back to when my grandma passed, I always felt a little bit guilty because I was too young. I was a bit young. I think it was up until, I think she passed when I was maybe in middle school, maybe just into high school. And she was living with us for like the last several years. And you just don't, you know, you're just a child. But I remember at times, because she would always just wander around the house, she would always follow me and like almost incessantly. It's such a grandma trait, right? Like incessantly following me, being like, have you eaten? You need to eat more food. And it was just, you know, it would bother me. I would get annoyed. I'd be like, no, you know, it's kind of like those moments where you roll your eyes and like, oh my God, why does she keep pestering me? And now in hindsight, obviously, I wish, you know, I was a bit more mature to realize like, you know, I don't know. It's just like those things hit you a bit differently afterwards. So, you know, it is what it is. We've been there with her on and off the last days now. Okay. But yeah, sorry to hear that, man. Hopefully you're doing okay. All right. So over here, I'm starting the 50 frame shots. So let's start editing. So this is when we get into chimp territory. Let's get with it.
Base onto them. It lights the actors perfectly. and it gives them something real to look at.
I didn't want to use green screen because it's really boring to shoot, honestly. You turn up, it's a depressing day when you have to shoot green screen. What's really fun is to come onto these sets we built that felt more like simulator rides than sets. And so the actors could actually look out the windows, see the real views.
I'm not having to pretend. I'm not having to listen to a script supervisor or director tell me in my ear what I should be imagining I'm seeing, because it's practically there. You get to behave instead of having to play so much pretend.
And I remember there was one day when we shooting this scene where the Endurance starts to spin in order to achieve gravity, and the image of Earth that we were looking at would sort of rotate in the frame just outside the window, and I got motion sickness looking at it. I think we've all done tennis ball acting at this point, and there is a certain skill in that, but when you can just let yourself relax, trust your circumstances, and focus on the work, it's a great gift.
And the spaceships? No computer graphics. They build these massive physical models.
What we wanted to try to do with Interstellar was to use techniques that would be timeless.
I think if Christopher Nolan had his choice, he would be shooting in space with real spaceships and actually doing this for real on location, but the next best thing is to use miniatures.
They were so big, the crew stopped calling them miniatures and started calling them maxatures. They were big enough to mount a real IMAX camera onto them.
Think about the fact that
Damn.
NASA sent IMAX cameras up to space. By doing that, you create...
Fez says, yeah, we've known it was coming for about 6 months now. She was told she had 3 months left back then. Okay, well, I mean, listen, beating the odds, doubling her chances, good on her. But yeah, man, it's rough stuff. I was thinking about my cats. It's like, I need to, we were talking about earlier, right? There was some kind of study recently that there's some promising drug that's supposed to help potentially double the lifespan of cats, because there's some issue where cats' kidneys can't process something properly, like genetically or whatever, evolutionary wise, it just never happened. And usually a lot of the ways that cats die is when the kidney fails like that. And so they're like, oh, we discovered some way that apparently resolves that or fixes it somehow. And they were saying it could potentially double the lifespan of the cats. I was like, God damn, that sounds amazing. Because I think cats, usually you can, like a house cat can maybe live up to 16 years, something like that, I've heard. So if you could have it doubled. Now, I didn't think about this, but someone did mention, like, well, one of the maybe controversies or things to think about is, like, it's the quality of life. Like, what if they could double the lifespan, but the last, whatever, 16 years of its life, it's like the rest of the body is still degraded. It's just the kidney doesn't shut down. But if you're like 30-year-old cat and you're basically blind, you know, joint problems and everything else that comes with old age, but hey, you got a nice healthy kidney, you know, well, maybe it's not the best life. So, well, who knows? The point is things are promising. Medicine is always nice. It's exciting to see how much progress we make. I think the last thing, one of the craziest news, I didn't think it got a lot of attention, was something to do with, I could be wrong, was it like pancreatic cancer or one of these like really deadly cancers? Some scientists had a breakthrough to either cure it or do something revolutionary in terms of, you know, fighting against it properly. Actually, you know what? Let's look it up. What was it? Was it? I think it was pancreatic cancer. Pancreatic cancer news. A new, let's see, nearly doubling survival time. Okay, let's look up a cancer breakthrough. Okay, yeah, so maybe it was that pancreatic cancer that was in the news. Point is, hopefully that's a good use of technology that will make our lives better. Fingers crossed.
Create a very specific feeling, and we want to replicate that.
You really got to ponder the life path of an IMAX camera. It was designed to show humanity the real outer space, and it ends up flying around a dark room strapped to a plastic prop. Interstellar is set in the future, but Nolan refused to design a future.
Because what I realized is a huge amount of creative energy goes into the parlor game of trying to figure out what a pair of trousers is going to look like in the future, or what a pair of glasses is going to look like in the future. And you're never going to get it right. I wanted to eliminate that thinking entirely from the design process so that we could put our efforts elsewhere and hopefully produce something that was actually a little more timeless.
We really wanted to look at what's been used in space, what's been used on the Apollo missions, on the space shuttle, on the ISS, and every switch does what it needs to do, and every button does something, and all the docking mechanisms, all those things are all just based on contemporary reality of how do you deal with life in space.
Everything is packed away, so you have tables here. We've got seats that come out. This stuff is just scrolling data and updates. We ended up mixing stuff we could get so we could get the age and realism of some of these parts, and then we would manufacture bits and pieces to tie them in. Because this ship has been built over 20 years, so some of the technology would be older, some of it would be newer.
Just a bunch of folks flying through a wormhole, praying the check engine light doesn't pop on.
What's your humor setting, Towers? That's 100%. Let's bring it on down to 75, please.
So all the design energy, they put it into the robots. But wait, you're not allowed to call them robots. Nolan actually banned the word robot on the set. He makes the entire crew refer to them as articulated machines.
Why?
A bit pretentious, I think. But the idea is that it isn't your average shiny tin suit guy.
What we sort of jokingly termed as kind of robot like Mies van der Rohe would design.
Full disclosure, I don't know a lot about architecture, but the Google says Mies van der Rohe is the minimalist guy. The less is more fella.
It should be a very, very functional piece of equipment. It should be, like a light stand or a tripod or something, or a camera dolly. It should just be a thing.
So they take the big black monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey. They chop it into 4 pieces of metal, put some hinges on it, and now that walking rectangle is the most famous robot of the decade. You'd think this thing must be CGI. Not on Nolan's watch. The effects team built TARS as a physical puppet.
You have something that you can puppeteer on set, and then you remove the puppeteer through relatively simple visual effects.
So now you have a 200-pound piece of metal, and somebody has to drag it through the dirt and do all the voices live on set. And for this grueling, back-breaking labor, Nolan hires Mr. Noodle. He hires Bill Irwin, Tony Award-winning Broadway actor and the most respected mime at the time in America.
I was looking for was somebody to take on the job of giving life and personality to what is essentially, an inanimate object.
And Chris Nolan says, I wanted a guy who's an actor, but also he needs to be a clown. He needs to be somebody who could take a stepladder and make him move.
Bill brought so much life and personality and such a lovable quality to TARS. I don't know what the physical challenge for Bill was like, but he always brought a smile to his work every day.
It's been a gig where just about every aspect of the acting craft I've ever had has come into play. For a physical actor, the proposition was fascinating.
They build a different version of articulated machines for almost every situation. On Miller's Planet, they bolt one of them onto a quad bike. They only brought in computer graphics for the stuff a physical puppet absolutely could not do. Now, Nolan likes to hide a lot in his movies, to make you watch them more than once. The bookshelf alone is worth another go. He puts Stephen King's The Stand on the shelf, because that's a book about a plague that ends the world. He puts Jane Austen's Emma up there, because his wife and producer is Emma Thomas. But my favorite one is at the very end. And here this close-up shot of the shelf, and the book in the frame is The Big Nowhere by James Ellroy. Then you got the wormhole itself.
And I've seen the movie, and we've been through a wormhole, so we know what's on the other side. Special effects.
It's parked right next to Saturn. Why Saturn? Well, 50 years ago, Stanley Kubrick wanted to put his big alien monolith next to Saturn in 2001: A Space Odyssey. But his special effects guys couldn't make the rings look right.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
So he gave up and went to Jupiter instead. Half a century later, Nolan comes along, figures out the computer graphics, and puts it right next to Saturn. And if you know your Greek mythology, you can spot another reason why he chose Saturn. Greeks called this planet Kronos, the god of time, which is the whole point of the picture and definitely the one god Nolan worships.
I don't know how to answer that one, actually.
They call the spaceship the Endurance, which is a nod to Ernest Shackleton's ship. It went down to Antarctica. It got completely crushed by the ice. It sank to the bottom of the ocean, but every single man aboard survived and made it home alive. But in Nolan's version, The crew isn't what needs to survive.
Now you have to think bigger than that, all right?
As for influences, Nolan was open about them. He screened the right stuff for the crew before shooting.
As we were discussing our methodology and how we did certain things, because the things that they did in that film, and it's a much more technically perfect film than people remember. It really is one of the great American movies.
That view is tremendous.
He admitted you can't make a space film and pretend 2001 doesn't exist.
I live in a world where it exists, and
Yes.
it's my chief inspiration for
Yeah.
making the film. So I really tried to simply be inspired by it. And then actually Hoyte, my DP, introduced me to Tarkovsky's Mirror, which I think had a big influence on the sort of elemental things in the story to do with wind and dust and water and so forth.
But the absolute craziest detail in the entire movie is in the music. Not even in the music, just one annoying ticking sound on that damn Miller's planet. Every tick is an entire day on Earth. Which brings us back to the black hole, the bad boy responsible for the entire time dilation problem in the first place.
Black holes have been represented in movies in the past, and it tends to be a very literal interpretation. It just literally looks like a...
Red Mantis. R3D Mantis, I guess. It says holy color correction notes. Yeah, listen, you're not the first to say that. I swear it all makes sense. You just gotta, squint your eyes a little bit and be very open-minded. But your name says R3D. Does that mean you shoot in R3D? Are you a red shooter? Either way, thanks for hopping in here. I'm very, I can't say that anymore. I'm not new to color grading or things like that, but I'm also not professional. I would put myself somewhere in that intermediate element of things. But yeah, thanks for hopping in here. For my streams, usually I do a lot of photo and video edits. Right now I'm in color grading mode. I'm just going through every footage that I captured from some of my recent trips. And it's a bit mindless right now, so I'm watching some random YouTube video as I do this. But yeah, just doing a little bit of grading. This looks complicated, but I swear I was following the right procedures. We watched some proper YouTube videos that broke down the key steps. And then, yeah, I just have several nodes because my brain doesn't know how to function any other way besides this way. But it gives me the results I want. And isn't that all that matters? It's the friends you make along the way. Red says, no, red mantis, like the red praying mantis insect. Oh, interesting. I've never seen a red one. In Uganda, I got a really good shot of just a typical praying mantis. Let me see. Red praying mantis. Ho ho ho! Damn, that thing is insane. Holy shit, this looks like some Chinese warrior. Kung Fu mantis. Okay, it's definitely striking the pose for that. So good job. Yeah, it looks like maybe it's like a samurai. Maybe it's like a Japanese style. But the red makes me think Chinese. But that black helmet-looking thing kind of feels like an armored samurai. Jesus. Well, you've named yourself after something that's pretty epic, so good job. I thought you were talking about like R3D. So for example, the footage you see here, these are all shot with the Nikon ZR, which was shot in the Red RAW, the R3D NE, not R3D Nikon edition is what it's called. And so this is the first time I've been introduced to like proper cinema quality footage is with this ZR. Some people in the chat, they've been shooting with like, what is it? Blackmagic Pixis 12K something, or like the Komodos and all these like crazy sounding stuff. I'm not at that level just yet. I will say though, because I mentioned there's a project I was on recently with CNN. It's called CNN Create. And so I got to join them as a camera operator on a recent project to Uganda. It did launch recently. It is public now. It was with the Tourism Board of Uganda. It's on TV. I'm waiting for them to post it on social media so that I can repost it. And also I'm waiting for final permissions or making sure what can I share, what can I not share, basically. But They were shooting with the Sony FX6 and the FX3. And it was super impressive the way, you know, they had everything, all the equipment. I was learning a lot, just taking notes mentally. But I think they were impressed with me being there with my little Nikon ZR. And I was getting some clean captures, you know. And I just do handheld work, so I don't do anything crazy. I do need to learn how to shoot with gimbals though. It's a requirement. But yeah, you can get some clean shots like this. This was in Uganda, shooting again with the ZR. I think I applied that cinematic haze. So someone mentioned that there's this AI software built into DaVinci called Cinematic Haze. So I think that is currently added to this shot. But it does look pretty cool. Oh, which is why it loads like this. Red says, I know, right? They look awesome. Oh, you're talking about the red mantis. Sorry, the praying mantis, yeah. Ooh, hold on a second. Did I shoot this with... Let me see. Ideally, I captured this with the Freewell ND filter attached. Because I was mentioning already, but I want to make a product review video about the Freewell color polarizer / variable ND filter, because they provided it to me for free, and all they asked for was for me to test it out and then hopefully make a nice review or whatever that comes from it. And I genuinely have appreciated this product quite a bit. I used it extensively across 3 different countries, and honestly, I actually enjoy it more than the Polar Pro variable ND filters that I currently use. I think in terms of quality, I probably couldn't, I didn't do a technical test. I didn't do like a side-by-side comparison. But I felt that the quality was fantastic. Like, definitely didn't feel like I was downgrading my footage by any means. But the benefit was that it's got a few extra stops of light. So it's 3 to 7 stops versus my Polar Pros are 2 to 5. Plus, when I apply it, it's so much easier to use, and like basically it's got a magnetic cap and it comes off very easily. Whereas with the Polar Pros, you have to twist your lens cap off, and it causes so much of a nightmare in terms of maintaining whatever settings you had in terms of which stop of ND you had on and all that kind of stuff. So I really like this Freewell. So now I'm just trying to go through. I was shooting with a bunch of action cameras. So here I was shooting with the Osmo Nano. So I'm trying to see, ideally, fingers crossed, but hopefully I used the right lens where I had this Freewell filter on top when I got that shot we were just looking at. Let me find it. Fingers crossed. Okay, it's right around here, isn't it? Ah, dang it. Wait, hold on. Yeah, because I always rock 2 cameras with me. And unfortunately at this point, I think I had taken off the 400mm lens off one of my cameras. So I had probably a 35 and an 85 that I was using. So the 35 had the Freewell ND filter, and then I think the 85 had my Polar Pro ND filter. But it looks like for this shot, I didn't even have a filter on. Let's see. Oh yeah, and that was super annoying that it would fog up like this. Oh, talk about one of the worst feelings is this moment right here. You're trying to get the shot and your freaking lens is fogged up. So I couldn't get the damn shot. I think I had to grab my lens cloth. But I'm missing like key moments here. It's so goddamn annoying. Well, actually, you know what? I'm not really complaining, because this is how we ended up getting the really cool look. Because there's a bit of a haziness to the shot itself because of the foggy front of lens, which actually ended up creating a nice effect. So actually, in some ways, I shouldn't complain. It gave me a nice look at the end. Fed says there's a new free film emulation, Spectra Film. It's in beta now, so they're still working on it. I've been trying out. It's what I used on the last video I put up. Oh, nice. At this point, I'm all in on Dehancer, and hopefully they'll want to keep working with me. If I just got to keep making more content with them.
Another one's coming.
Okay, so unfortunately, this really cool shot, I didn't use the Freewell filter. It would have been really nice because that's definitely a nice hero shot moment. But we got plenty of other moments for sure. But this one just looked nice.
Tell me if I'm in the frame.
It was a cool framing to have like these two chimps both chilling, both looking in opposite directions. What did I shoot? This is a f4.5. Okay, yeah. Other one's coming. Stop filming that one. Go, go, go. Okay, I mean, cool moment, but not shot with the right filter. Okay, anyways. Oh, man. All right, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm slightly, what's the right word to use? I'm not on my A game mentally because like this whole time, the back of my mind, I'm just constantly thinking of my 44 terabytes destroyed, 44 terabytes destroyed. So I feel like this is maybe where I want to end the stream so I can shut down my computer, and then I need to double check if my 44 terabyte hard drive is actually indeed fried. Fingers crossed that it's not, and then I'll be able to proceed as normal with no issues. But this is the first time I saw that red light come in, and that's not promising. So I think I just need to spend the rest of the night just doing a bit of research, see what I need to do to double check how things are. Cyrone says, I'm sorry, fam, get some solace. What is solace? Solace. Red Man says, damn, hopefully it's not. Yeah, listen, I mean, well, oh yeah, but the good news is I mentioned I did have it all backed up. So I used something called Backblaze, and that works pretty well. So basically everything, it's got unlimited storage, right? So I have everything backed up to the cloud. Unfortunately, unless things have changed recently, once you have things backed up into Backblaze, if you want a physical hard drive of the footage, there's a cap of 8 terabytes. Like you can purchase an 8 terabyte hard drive, which then they ship to you, which is great. But then you can imagine I need to pay for at least 5, probably 6. I would have to pay for 6 freaking hard drives to be mailed to me. And I think each one costs probably like $250, something like that. So definitely not the most ideal scenario. I think there's an option in Backblaze now where I can have it downloaded digitally to my hard drive. But I don't know how reliable that is. I don't know how long that'll take, all that fun stuff. So just a lot of things I need to figure out here. Fed says, yeah, try to look into it. It can be, if it can be salvaged in some way. The good news I was mentioning is that I believe HDDs, so I believe this is a hard drive, like there's SSD and HDD, right? So this is one of the HDD. What does that even stand for? HDD. What does HDD stand for? Hard disk drive. Okay. How easy is it to recover files from HDD? Ranges from very easy, okay, fingers crossed, or nearly impossible for severe physical damage. Because of the way HDD storage works, files are rarely deleted instantly. They only become inaccessible, meaning the data often remains safely on the disk. Okay. Siren says hard disk drive, solid state drive. Yeah. I knew the SSD. I always forget the HDD. Because yeah, in my mind I keep thinking high definition. Yeah, so I guess it's not. Yeah, it should be fine. Should be fine. But you know, not the best thing to happen today. Hopefully, it doesn't mean a lot of money lost having to take care of that. Anything else I should say for the day? Well, you know what? Fed says the problem might just be the power on it. Possibly. The issue I was also saying is that all of my hard drives are basically full. I know that you shouldn't. I guess I didn't know that until recently. On a hard drive, on an HDD, how much of the drive should always be empty? I think it was like something like 10 to 15% or something. You should always, right on the money. For an active HDD, you should always keep 10 to 15% of the drive empty. Never let any drive fall below 5% free space. Maintaining this buffer prevents several major problems. Defragmentation. Okay, I don't have Windows, but let's see. Windows needs empty space to move files around it so it can defragment the drive and keep it running smoothly. For temporary files, cache. The mechanical read-write head needs room to work. A severely full HDD will become noticeably slower. Okay. So this might mean, hopefully I do recover everything. Everything's fine. But it probably means I need to rearrange all of my hard drives still to give that 10%, 15% headroom across all of my drives. Because I think every one of my drives are probably as close to 100% as it can be. So probably not a good thing. So I might, just a lot of annoying things I'll probably have to take care of over the weekend, unfortunately. Fed says, yeah, when you get a new drive, it's smart to unload them a bit. Yeah. Oh, man, what a world. So, okay, anyways, that aside, the things I mentioned to you guys, be on the lookout. Tomorrow, I believe tomorrow, if all goes well, I should be able to publish my next YouTube video. Like I said, it's a doozy. It's 20 minutes long, this one. Actually, almost 21 minutes. And it's slightly different style than I'm used to doing. It's basically watching me wander around Munich over a week when I was there recently through my various action camera stuff. But you get to follow my journey as I go every day practicing how to shoot photos and videos with the Nikon ZR and with the challenge of using a different lens every day. So it was really fun for me. I hope you guys end up enjoying the photos and videos that I captured. Again, I'm a wildlife photographer primarily, so this was quite a challenge for me to kind of shift mindsets and shift gears in a sense of like, what am I capturing? But I hope you guys like the results and the storytelling. It is 21 minutes, so it's not a quick one. Sarni says, happy to talk about data storage solutions for the future if you'd like to come up with something. Oh yeah, listen, I would appreciate that. I was mentioning, again, Swiss Army had provided something in the past. Let me see if I can quickly find it. He had told me about some solution where, I could be wrong, but he said it's like these hard drives that have up to like 120 terabytes, some like massive hard drive to that extent. So, and I think he said he knows the person, he knows someone that works at that company. And so there's like a random chat about that got brought up. Let me see if I can quickly find it. Because I'd be curious what your thoughts are. Because then this was like, oh, instead of going with the NAS system, just go with a big ass hard drive. I'm like, okay, I mean, yeah, that is another solution I didn't think about. Let's see. Where would it be? Oh, here it is. I found it. He said it's the what? He sent me a picture. Let me see if I can show it. I don't know if you can recognize it from this image here. Oh, wait. Okay, let's see. What does it say? It's a Oyen digital port. I can't read that. Oyen digital portis. Let's Google that. Oyen digital 110 terabytes maybe. Oyen digital fortis. The Oyen Digital Fortis 5C 110 terabyte 5 bay something something. Cyrenis is probably tape storage. No, it's not the tape storage. I am familiar with the tape storage. I learned about it recently. And it sounds like a good solution long term to basically put these onto like archive things onto tape. But even that sounded like a lot of work. Oh, and then something I bought recently. Here, I think I can show it without damaging things. I bought this thing. It's a Sabrent. It's like a 24 terabyte, and it's got one more slot where I can put in an additional 24 terabyte, which is quite nice. But it seemed like a efficient system where you've just got these big drives that does the storage. It's a Sabrent something. I honestly forget. Oyen Digital Fortis, that's one of those NAS boxes I mentioned. I thought NAS had something to do with like you have a local cloud storage or something, no? I thought that's what it was about. So this one is 5 by 22 terabytes. No longer available. How much does it cost usually? I can imagine it costs a little bit crazy. Oyen. Okay, let's look at price. These are what are called JBODs, aka just a bunch of discs. I like that. JBOD. Yeah, so I mean, regardless, the solution might end up costing me like $1,000+, which is not fun. Fed says no, NAS are boxes with hard drives like that. Okay, then what am I thinking of? I thought there was a whole system of like file management where you create like a local network and everything gets stored onto that network or something like that. This is squishing all those drives into a single type C connection, which does have some serious performance bottlenecks. I mean, I've got my Mac Studio, which has a bunch of ports. I've got like one of the other hubs. But the problem is, again, right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got like anywhere from 7 to 8 hard drives connected to my Mac Studio at any given time. And again, the issue is I packed every hard drive to the brim, so I gotta fix that as well. NAS equals network attached storage. Got it. Okay, you know what? That's on me then for sure. I mean, I think when I see the word network, I just assume something about like being on the internet, like having a network connection. But I guess I didn't think about network just means it could be just a localized, like, just a chain of a network of your hard drives or something. Fair enough. Anyways, the point is I'm a bit mentally fried right now as I gotta figure this shit out. I just want to turn off my computer and restart it and then see what happens from there. But let's say hi to my cats real quick. The perfect de-stressor is right here. What a good boy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Network can mean many things for sure. Yeah, I took a jump to that one. Good girl, Nala. All right. Anyways, well, listen, guys, I appreciate you guys hopping in here. I should have streamed longer today. But it is what it is, You win some, you lose some. Today's one of those days. All right, I appreciate it, guys. I'm going to hop off now. I will watch Widow's Bay. So thanks again, Fed, for the recommendation for Widow's Bay. I know the new episode just released, I think, yesterday. So that's what I'm going to do to detox besides shutting off my computer. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Dator. I appreciate it. I had a hard drive that seemed to just stop working. It suddenly worked again a month later. Listen, if that could happen, oh, man. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'd rather just a definitive, like, it's done or it's fine, We'll see. All right, thanks, guys.